Welcome in. Now, we took the week off like the NFL took the week off last week, but we are back. Walter from Walter Football, Aton from Odd Shopper, the two of us excited to talk a little Eagles football, Walter, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, it's okay with me. It's been a long week. It's felt like a month, to be honest. I don't know, but I'm excited for the game. It's in 3 days, and I can't wait. So let's break it down.
Awesome. We'll tell you all about what's going on at walterfootball.com. We invite you to hit the thumbs up, subscribe over here on Odd Shopper. Let's not waste any time. Let's get to the game itself, side total, the big play, what you have, maybe even just coming down to winning. And I know that you, and I'm sure other people who are savvy, have maybe a futures ticket or two on one of these two teams, if not both. But how are you playing just the overall result of this football game before we talk some props?
Yeah, I'm going with the team with the better roster, and I don't think there's a question that it's the Eagles. So if you look at every position, except for quarterback and tight end, the Eagles are either better or equal to the Chiefs. Now, you can say maybe running back, it's close. I think the Eagles have the edge there, a slight edge. Safety, I think the Eagles maybe have a slight edge, but every other position, receiver, the Eagles absolutely kill the Chiefs. Offensive line, the Eagles have the best offensive line in the NFL. Chiefs have an above average offensive line. Eagles pass rush, not even close. The Eagles they can break the all-time record for sacks for regular season plus playoffs if they get to Mahomes 4 times, which is possible. Cornerbacks, like not even close. Linebackers, the Eagles have the edge. So almost every position, the Eagles are better. So I don't see why the Chiefs would suddenly win. Like you can make 2 arguments for the Chiefs, and I think you can. I'll debunk them. Like the first one is that the Eagles got lucky here to get to the Super Bowl. Now, you can be both lucky and good. I don't see why it has to be one. So the argument is the Eagles beat Daniel Jones, who beat the Vikings, by the way. Everyone thought the Vikings are good. They beat Daniel Jones, and they beat a Brock Purdy, Josh Johnson situation in San Francisco where they were both injured. So the Eagles destroyed both those teams. It's not like they scraped by those opponents like the Vikings. We faded the Vikings all year because they barely got by teams. And I'm going to get more hate mail from Minnesota fans, but the Eagles have destroyed opponents all year except for that November swoon where I felt like they kind of got distracted and they weren't really focused. Like that Washington game Monday night, like they weren't trying hard at all in that game. Most of their other games, they've killed their competition. So yeah, they played a soft schedule, soft schedule in the playoffs, but they're a great team. So they got lucky, but they're also good. The other argument that people are making for the Chiefs is that Patrick Mahomes is going to carry this team to a victory. Now, I think there's a small chance that happens if Mahomes has one of the great all-time games, but Tom Brady threw for 500 yards against the Eagles in the Super Bowl 5 years ago, and he still lost. So, sometimes these amazing quarterbacks don't win in the Super Bowl. And in fact, it happens less often than people think. I've been tracking this. If you take the better quarterback in the Super Bowl, they're only 7-11 straight up and 5-13 against the spread since 2000. You could go back to like Tom Brady versus Eli Manning twice. He lost both those games. Tom Brady versus Nick Foles. He lost that game. Right. Patrick Mahomes versus a 43-year-old Tom Brady a couple years ago. He lost that game. There have been instances where the better quarterback is covered, as I said, 5-13 against the spread. But more often than not, the worst quarterback wins. And it's because if the worst quarterback gets to the Super Bowl, it's because he's surrounded by so many other players. Yeah, the Chiefs had the better quarterback, but the Eagles have, I would say, 18 out of the 22 starters. They're better than the Chiefs. So, I think there's a chance the Eagles run away with a blowout in this game. I think that it's going to be like maybe 27-14 in the fourth quarter, and Patrick Mahomes throws a touchdown at the end to make it closer than it seems. So my final score is Eagles 27, Chiefs 21, and Jalen Hurts wins MVP.
Love that. All right, we'll talk a little bit about Hurts coming up. I wanted to throw something out at you. And by the way, you're right. Like, they have the better tight end, but our guy here, and it's the only chance the Cowboys are ever going to see Dallas in the Super Bowl. I understand that too. But like our guy here, I don't want to just say that he's chopped liver. Not that you did either. I just want to remind people Dallas Goedert, it's not as wide of a gap as special as Travis Kelce is. One thing I wanted to throw at you to get your thoughts on the game, I took the Eagles plus money, minus a half-point first half. I thought, based on what we've seen with this Eagles team, for the most part, they are a first-half team. Even if that first half means second quarter, but they have the ability. We've seen them get out. So I like the idea of them winning the first half, even by a half point at plus 110.
Yeah, I like that. The Eagles have been a strong first half team, as you said. Look at their results. They've gotten out to huge leads and they kind of fallen asleep in the second half. Maybe they won't have that luxury in the Super Bowl because the Chiefs are they're a really good team, but still, I like that. I think it's safer than the -1.5 because the off chance that there's a 4% chance that the game lands on one. So I like that. I like the first half bet. And also, if things don't go your way, I think you can bet the Eagles in the second half too, because the Chiefs all year have not been a complete team. Like they faltered in one half each of these in almost all their games. So I actually think that they probably have a worse first half than second half, just based on how the Eagles have gone. And to get back to your Dallas Goedert point, that's the funny thing about this is like the Eagles are so much better than the Chiefs at a lot of positions, but the two positions where the Chiefs are better, you have quarterback. Yeah, Mahomes is better than Hurts, obviously, but Hurts won MVP or is in the running for MVP. And then tight end, Travis Kelce. I think you'd rather have Travis Kelce than Dallas Goedert, but Goedert is arguably a top 5 tight end in the NFL,
Absolutely.
and he's the better blocker. So I love the Eagles. I think they definitely win this game.
All right, Jalen Hurts, you mentioned MVP. We're going to talk about the MVP, but also in the backdrop of talking about the MVP, you can brag and highlight once again what you guys are doing at walterfootball.com. We always encourage you to check out, sign up over at walterfootball.com. You guys are right, prime ready to kill the NFL draft once more. But speaking of the MVP award, you and anybody else on walterfootball.com got a pretty good value ticket on a 50-1 shot that's now down to like 31-1.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. So we bet Hassan Reddick at 50-1. It was last Tuesday, which again feels like a month ago, really. But I bet him at 50-1. It was at Bovada, and I thought it was a great value because Reddick is such a great pass rusher, and if he forces Patrick Mahomes into some sacks and a fumble, and if he gets the defensive touchdown, I think he has a great chance. But it's kind of like Von Miller. Remember against the Panthers in the Super Bowl, he didn't score a touchdown, but he forced a play that resulted in a touchdown. I love Reddick as a long shot, or at least I did at 50-1. We posted that last Tuesday on the site at walterfootball.com. And now at the same sportsbook, Bovada, it's down to 28-1. So it's been hammered by I guess a lot of the sharps, and if it's not going to be Jalen Hurts, I think it's someone from the defense, and Reddick is as good as any of them. So I still like 28-1, but it's not nearly as good as 50-1.
That's why you get in at walterfootball.com. That's it. I mean, we've been telling you about the draft. You guys are crushing the NFL draft. You've got a history of that. You'll do it again this year, but we don't want people thinking like, oh, I got to wait for the draft. You just got 1,600, maybe even 2,000 points of value on an MVP ticket just for signing up and being a part of walterfootball.com. It's amazing, man. And I'm sure that's not the only time you're catching CLD like that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, on the site, we'll post, and any great lines that we'll lock in, and I'll let everyone know on Twitter at Walter Football. Whenever we make a locked in bet. But usually, like we'll wait for line value if we don't get it right away. So we have updates all the time on the site. So yeah, check it out. We have tons of content, not just picks, but mock drafts. We have updates on those every week. If we're playing DFS. We have picks for that as well. So yeah, check all that out at walterfootball.com.
All right, so we have the side on the Philadelphia Eagles. We have Hurts or Reddick, and that's the value ticket for the MVP. And it's still there, but a lot of the value, I should say, is gone. But you've looked at a couple of other things here when it comes to props and when it comes to betting this particular game, including some stuff that I was looking at thinking, you may be the only person I know betting something like this, which is usually a good sign, by the way, to tail somebody if they know their shit. And we've been doing this long enough that everybody watching knows you know your shit. So margin of victory was something that kind of jumped out when I saw you place a wager there.
Yeah, this is something I do almost every year if I think the game's gonna be close. So what I like to do is I like to bet both sides winning by 1 to 6 points, and you get some great line value here. So like Chiefs by 1 to 6 points is plus 325 at Bet MGM. Eagles by 1 to 6 points is plus 333 at Bet MGM. I don't know why that's larger, but if you bet both, I mean, obviously you're not going to win both, but
Sure.
unless you're in some parallel universe or something where both teams win. Yeah, you're probably going to win one of these and profit. It worked last year with the Bengals Rams. Obviously it doesn't work. It's going to be a blowout. But like I said, Patrick Mahomes is an amazing quarterback, and if this game is like I said, 27-14, I think there's a good chance he throws a touchdown at the end. 6 is a key number. That's why 1 to 6, not like 1 to 5. So yeah, I think people underestimate how important 6 is. So if you go like 1 to 7 points, you're going to get far less value. And yeah, it would suck if this game lands on 7, but 6 has become so much more prominent. Not just because the overtime rule that has changed. Teams are more incentivized to go for the touchdown, but because of missed extra points, that happens. Also, if a team's down 8 and they score a touchdown and they're down 8, they're likely to go for 2 in the fourth quarter. So 6 has become so important, and I don't think the sportsbooks have really adjusted for that, because I don't think the public realizes how important 6 is. So I like going 1 to 6 on both sides, and hoping for a close game.
Better get in now, by the way, because as we're recording this, that Chiefs 1 to 6, and we're in the same state, so I'm looking at the same book. But that Chiefs number has dropped just below 3 to 1.
Oh wow!
Not surprising, right? I mean, you had it at 330, right?
Yeah, 325 for the Chiefs and 333 for the Eagles.
Okay. I'm sorry. So the Eagles are at 325. The Chiefs are down at 290, which I still think works, right?
Oh, yeah, it definitely works. I mean, I would shop around. You could probably get a 315, 320 somewhere if I got 325 earlier. I can't imagine it's that popular, So, yeah, I like betting both sides of this.
It's not that it's popular. It's that somebody named Walter put a large amount on there at that book, and BetMGM had to say, wait a second, maybe we missed something. That's my guess.
Yeah, maybe. I remember betting heavily on like one preseason game. No one bets preseason, but like I bet like heavily on one preseason side, and like a second later, the line moved like 1 point. I'm like, wait, did I do that, or I don't know?
Look at that. Pat yourself on the back. All right, which is going to be the highest score? You talked about the Chiefs struggling in the second half. Maybe an opportunity for the Eagles just to take the second half if they're down. But the highest scoring half, honestly, I don't know which way you're going to lean here.
Yeah, so I mean, based on the Eagles' history, you would think first half, but I feel like the second half of Super Bowls have been like a lot higher scoring than people think. Like usually these teams are kind of hesitant. They're kind of like a boxing match. They kind of like take jabs at each other until like they go all out in the second half. In the past 36 Super Bowls, the second half is 23-12-1 against the first half. So you're getting minus 110. So the points scored in second half over first half, minus 110 at Bovada. You're getting like a standard line for something that's 23-12-1 over the past 36 Super Bowls. And I don't think, I'm not like a huge trend guy, because, sometimes things happen randomly, and I think you have to explain it logically. But I think the logic is that teams are really hesitant to go all out in the first half, and then they kind of explode in the second half. So despite how well the Eagles have scored in the first half, I like the second half. And I think that even applies, because I think there's a good chance the Chiefs don't do much in the first half offensively because of how great the Eagles defense is. And then maybe you get those backdoor covers for the Chiefs, or backdoor touchdowns for the Chiefs to cover the spread with Mahomes scoring late. So I like the second half of the first half.
All right, we'll keep it moving here. I love that, by the way, as far as the mentality of it, and at least, as you mentioned, the approach here. You talked about the first half, right? Betting that. What about something that's so obscure that you're pretty confident that you were the only one to bet, or maybe you and the WalterFootball.com crew is on? Something maybe with a kicking prop?
Yeah, I saw this, and it says, will there be a missed extra point after a touchdown?
Okay.
And I kind of like, I was like, you could probably figure this out mathematically. And like my first inclination was there was a plus, I think yes was plus 290. And I thought, I mean, there could be an extra point. Like block kicks happen all the time. Like let me do the math here. So between Harrison Butker and Jake Elliott, they've missed only 5 extra points in 29 games. So that's 17.2% of games. But this minus 380 line is to break even at 79.17%. And so you're getting like 4% of value here on the no. The no is minus 380 at Bovada. So, and like, if you also have to factor in this is in a dome. It's between like two great kickers, a big game. Maybe they go for too late. So I think that there's a no. I don't think there's a missed extra point after the touchdown. And the math says you get a 4% edge here on the no. So yeah, I'm taking a shot on the no. Just hoping for no missed extra points.
I love that, by the way, because you're taking an edge in the last game. Like, this is it. It's the biggest game. But a lot of people, tons of people, are making their first or second or 10th wager all year on this, and probably have no idea that you can gain 4 or 5% points of an edge, which is huge on any bet. So you're already finding a smaller market bet. I love the approach here. By all means, the strategy just jumps out, right? Like, you're applying that to finding a smaller market bet where there's probably already, or at least higher chance for somebody to make a mistake on the listed line there. So no, there will not be a missed extra point, and you had that at minus 110, correct?
Oh no, minus 380.
Minus 380.
It's a big line, but it actually works out to your benefit. Like
to the math, right?
Yeah, 4%. And I think people seeing the plus 290, I think they're way more likely to bet that, if at all. Like I imagine most people aren't betting this, but if they are, they're going to see the plus 290, and it kind of stares at you. And like, that's what it did to me. I was like, yeah, plus 290. It seems like great value, but really it's not. I think it's a trap, and I doubt anyone outside of people reading the site are taking the minus 380.
Hey, look, lay that, parlay, whatever you like with that play. Walt gave it to you, by all means. All right, we have one more, and this is a big one with our guy here, a guy who's going to be integral, I would think, in our team, yours and mine, Dan's too, who's producing. Everybody's an Eagles fan unless you live in Kansas City here for the purposes of this video. Real quick, let's tell you about what's going on over at DraftKings. It's going to take you 90 seconds. There's a link below. You can sign up. You just deposit $5. I tell you this all the time. You're already on DK, that's fine. Maybe somebody you know. There's probably somebody in your house who's not on DK for whatever reason. That's fine. You can sign them up. Or you're withholding for whatever. Or you're in a new state that's brand new like Ohio. Just sign up. It'll take you 90 seconds, deposit $5 and only $5, and then place a bet. Because as soon as you place any bet, it's going to turn into $200. So what I've been saying, Walt, is just take that $5 and put it on the Eagles money line, right? Like, who cares? Win, lose, you're going to get $200 right away. You don't even need to wait for this game to kick off. So you can bet that $5 on Thursday or Friday when you're watching this video and probably forget that you even placed that wager because you have the $200 right back in there. And I went with the Eagles, Walt, not the Chiefs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're getting minus. I think the money line is minus 120. So I like that. People were asking me, would you rather bet the minus 1.5 versus the minus 120 money line? I actually like the minus 1.5 more because games land on 4% of the time. So you're paying 10% more vig for the money line. So it actually works out better for the minus 1.5. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely safer. If you're really concerned this is going to be a 1-point game, then yeah, definitely money line. I mean, either way, I like the Eagles to win.
There you go. All right. We like the Eagles to win. But Jalen Hurts has to be involved. I don't think that this is going to be Jalen didn't do anything, Eagles win the Super Bowl type game. So where have you found the most value with our quarterback, Walter?
Yes, I have two Jalen Hurts bets. I have Jalen Hurts win MVP at plus 125. This is at FanDuel. So this is something I like to do. Like, I like to take a couple long shots and then hedge it with what the player I think is going to win the Super Bowl. So I think Jalen Hurts has a great chance to win MVP. He's never done it before. Obviously, it's his first time in the Super Bowl. So it's not like he's won MVP before and like the voters are kind of tired, like fatigued from giving it to him, and they're going to give it to someone else. It's kind of like you saw with Tom Brady. Like, I think Deion Branch won one year, and like it's like Brady probably still should have won. So Jalen Hurts has not won Super Bowl MVP before, so I think he wins it at plus 125. That's better than the money line at minus 120. So I think that's way too big of a disparity. So I like that. Also, Jalen Hurts over rushing yards, 47.5. The big is minus 114 at FanDuel. Jalen Hurts, like people might be hesitant to bet this because Hurts rushed for 34 and 39 yards in his 2 playoff games. But remember, those are blowouts. Jalen Hurts did not have to go wild in the second half, and this is it. This is probably the pinnacle of his career, and he's not going to be scared to run the ball. So I think Jalen Hurts runs a lot. I love all quarterback rushing props over in the playoffs. Something I bet a few weeks ago was Joe Burrow over rushing yards in the playoffs. And like Burrow's mobile. He's not known like Jalen Hurts to be a rushing quarterback, but everything's on the line, and these guys are going to do whatever it takes. So this is not a regular season game where they're going to be hesitant to run because they don't want to get hurt. I mean, they're going to go all out. So Jalen Hurts at 47.5 may seem high based on the 34 and 39 from the first 2 games, but unless this is a blowout, I think this definitely goes over.
Love that, man. Everything is working towards the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl. We're betting accordingly to it. It's going to be a glorious thing, Walter, when we wake up Monday morning to see all the Eagles fanfare and everything happening here in our beautiful city, and all these tickets just cashing in. So one more time, tell the world about WalterFootball.com before we get out of here, my friend.
Yeah, we have tons of content for everything in the NFL. The NFL draft, picks against the spread, fantasy. We graded every coach hiring. Free agency is going to be coming up in a month and actually like 6 weeks. We're going to have every grade for every signing. But yeah, for the draft, it's in 2.5 months, and we're going to have some great props for that. As I say, every week. We nailed every single prop we had except for long shots because Charlie Campbell, our NFL draft analyst, he somehow talks to everyone in the NFL. He's already provided some nice insight. He was at the Senior Bowl, and he reported actually. This is not useful for this upcoming draft, but he actually reported who the Rams would draft if they had their pick. Remember, they traded it to Detroit for Jared Goff. He actually reported who the Rams would draft if they had their pick. So he's been all over these teams. He's going to have some great insight for us the week of the draft. So I'm looking forward to once again betting those props and feeling like Martha Stewart with all this insider information.
Hey, that's what you do, except it's not going to end that way with Martha Stewart because there's no SEC or anything like that here for sports betting. Always a pleasure, my friend. Go Birds. We know the drill there. I noticed, no octopus, no Gatorade color, nothing crazy for you. You just like to keep it straight and simple here for the most part.
Yeah, I like to bet stuff you can quantify, like coin toss. Like someone actually emailed me this morning that I found a foolproof method to win the coin toss. I'm like, I wonder, is there a two-headed coin or something? Stuff that you don't know about. I just don't want to stay away from. If you have insider information on what color the Gatorade is going to be, go for it. Bet all you can. But the problem is that they have max limits on these bets, in most sportsbooks. So you can't fully take advantage of that. So we have more props on the site. And if I like something that stands out, I'm going to add to the site. So check that out at WalterFootball.com.
By the way, I've worked with enough former players to know that if it gets to be 2 minutes left in the third, I'm sure you've heard this too. 2 minutes left in the third quarter, 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and they're running low in Gatorade. Some veteran's going to look over and say, we need more Gatorade. And that's going to change so whatever inside information you got, that's going to change the color of the Gatorade. And it's just a matter of how thirsty these guys are. So I don't think you can quantify that they're in Minnesota, they're in Arizona. It's just craziness. I wanted to get your thoughts on any craziness, and I know you keep it very even, which is good. That's why you're successful at this. I love it, man.
Yeah, so we actually had on my show on YouTube, we have my co-host, Jacob Kamker. He used to be a national anthem singer. And so he actually has a prop bet on the national anthem and how long it's going to be. So you can check that out as well. So it's
kind of on the site.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he doesn't know what the singer is going to do, but he has expertise in this. So yeah, check that out as well.
You're not getting that anywhere else but WalterFootball.com. Love it. Yeah. Go Birds. They're going to win, and so are you for following. We'll talk again soon, my friend. Thank you.
Sounds good. Have fun watching the game, and we'll talk again soon.